Hello everyone and welcome back to our beautiful island of Elba, where we are participating in the City Planner Plays Buildoff challenge. We've started to populate the entire island pretty well, I want to say, but there are definitely some fixes that we need to implement. One will be in this area right here. Right now we still have some low density office zoning that are facing that main road. And I think it would make much more sense to have more mixed-use zoning along the pedestrian street right out the back. So we're gonna deal with that. In addition, I would love to connect this community up down here. So to get a little bit more foot traffic along there and actually allow them to have a secondary walk-in route to get from home into the city without having to walk along that very busy central road. So those two things plus what we have me, I have absolutely neglected is actually connecting up our new areas, our new residential areas up here and back here with our bus. And I think also a bus connection to the outside world would be actually quite beneficial. So that is what we are going to do in this episode. So there will be a few more bus stops coming in, a few more buses as well, or bus routes. But we're going to start with just fixing this part right here. The easiest way for me to fix this, because we are in vanilla, is probably to remove this street here temporarily, get the zoning on the right street, and then put those streets back in. So I'm gonna do just that. Alright, this is already done. Unfortunately, I will have trouble focusing this on the other road, because it either tries to put the zoning on this one, or once this one is in, it faces it in there. Now, I could have actually let me place a mixed residential as well. I thought it wouldn't look too good, but looking at this actually, I don't mind. Got a little corner shop right there. I think that looks pretty nice. All of these look just perfect. And then we have our regular housing here. Now we could fill this up with concrete. I don't think I want to do that, so we're gonna leave it as is. Those rooftops look a little bit funny. Anyways, it will just do. Overall, that area has now been fixed, so to speak, and we can move on to the next part. Beautifully, it is the middle of the night again, but you know, that's just what it is. So we're gonna create a pedestrian path around the mountain, snaking it up basically over here and then connecting it up. I think overall that will do just fine. Let me actually first have a look in terms of the grading up here. So actually not too bad. So if we're gonna say we start out this way and then want to snake our way around here, along there, and then over this way, we can just pick the smallest size, right click up here, and then I'm gonna start from relatively far back, as I am hoping. Is it actually doing anything? Why is it building it up so much? Alright, so that was a bust. Quickly undo this, nothing ever happened. So let's go ahead and actually just put in a pedestrian path. We're gonna start from back here. And again, this is supposed to be technically just a little hack in order to get more pedestrians into this area right there. And we're gonna try to hug the... Oh, this is going down. Interesting. To hug the mountainside. Hopefully not with bridges or too much of a like cut into the mountain. Maybe just like that. It is actually going down. I wish I could turn off the zoning area. That would be so nice. What I can actually do though is place a temporary path here. Hack my way into turning off the zoning. I guess that will just do. Now if we leave it here for now, we can later on always go back and redo some of these paths, which I think will ultimately will have to be what we're actually doing in the long run. I do not want a bridge. Don't want you to create this massive build out either. So here we go. That doesn't look too bad for now. Yep, massive bridge, of course. So why wouldn't you, I guess? So that is fully connected. Now we just need to connect this up, which hopefully will not be too much of an issue. I would love that to be not cut out. All right, overall not too bad. Let's remove that cutout over here as well. Slope this up. So we get a bit of a nicer path in here. And also remove this one now. And then we're gonna leave it at that. All right, for my sanity's sake, now they look a little bit ridiculous. Let's go ahead and remove the crossings over here. And because this side is facing south, I want to do a little bit of landscaping around it with trees. So in the summer, our people are not just gonna, you know, burn up. Or got this piece right here. All right, I'll be right back. All right, and with that, I think overall this is looking pretty nice. Now, we'll come back to this later and see if pedestrians are using it. But in the meantime, I think we need to focus a bit more on our public transportation. So to start with, we're gonna go back into our touristy area and are fixing some of the weirdness that is going on. While I do like the bus stops just across the Museum of Fine Arts, I think I'm gonna call a mulligan on all of the bus stops here, as well as the taxi stop, and we're gonna put in a proper bus station, a small bus station, and it will actually fit in perfectly in this corner right there, which I think will be much, much better. So we're gonna move it very close to the road, so we don't actually destroy any of the buildings in the back. I'm gonna go straight in, put in a taxi stand, upgrade for the extra platforms as well, and put in a little kiosk over here. So this can become sort of a central hub for our buses to travel along there. Next thing, we're just gonna move these into here. Yeah, there we go. You can go into the first one. I guess that's fair enough. And you can go into that second stop. And with that, I think it's a little bit better for our purposes. Taxis can also be picked up here. It's across from the cinema. And ultimately, our museum shouldn't suffer too much either. So that is the first part. And the next part will be a bit more involved. So I'm not gonna narrate it fully. We need to actually create additional bus stops. in our outside areas over this way and over this way. So I'll do that quickly and then I'll be right back. Alright, and that is already it. Let me actually quickly talk you through this. I decided to put 2 bus stops in front of the new sports park that we've placed in here. I will not move the route, the circular route from over here to there, because I think that is a distance that's easy walkable, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue. We're going up here. We will only have 1 bus route in one direction, which actually makes me think that second bus stop over here is not necessary. So we're just placing it on one side. So doing this, we will have 1 route going from the harbor to our sports park and then up around there. So let me quickly put that in. And I'm gonna take a quick break because I forgot that once I had changed these, it actually did destroy our bus stops over here. So I'm just gonna put them back in on over here. Not entirely sure why it made the one on the other side disappear. Unless there never was one. Anyways, and then we're just gonna drag all of these routes into these bus stops so that this is ultimately fixed. Alright, now we're gonna put in the actual bus connection that I was just talking about. So I'll be right back. Alright, so that one is in. I'm gonna quickly have a look into our bus transport. This is, that would be the west route. Now, 1 bus actually sounds pretty perfect. Oh, it's already at 2 buses. Yeah, we're not assigning 7 buses. 4 is more than enough for all of this. So that will kind of do. Now to connect this area up here, I want to have a almost circular path through here. Stop at the airport, stop at our tourist center, and then just stop at the main area right here. And we might just do that front-loading road and then just move back and all the way back out. If you need to switch buses, I honestly don't think it's too big an issue, depending on where you want to go. So I'm going to start all the way back here. And just going to plug that in. So no need for me to narrate this. So I will be back. Alright, and with that, this one, the east route, is also done. 17 stops, it is quite a few. But similar to before, I don't want the 22 buses. Even 11 is a bit insane. But with 11 buses, I think I'm also comfortable not moving it in both directions. If you want to go from here over here, you could take a bus here and then walk the rest or take your car, but I don't expect a lot of through traffic from one side to the other. So I think overall that will be just fine. What we could actually implement here is a pedestrian bridge, but we'll, future worries. All right, with this, our local connectivity is kind of done. There's another death wave coming around apparently. Facility is full. Wow. All right. We already have the expansion for all of this. So that is something that we will definitely need to deal with. And I am wondering if our crematorium doesn't actually have enough processing. We could add more storage, but it doesn't need more storage. So that is something that we will need to figure out. But before I kind of get sidetracked again, I want to have this one external connection that I mentioned before. So we want to go from our harbor through our city center. We're gonna make a couple stops in here, because adding a little bit more local connectivity, I think, if we can, why not? Oh, need to stop at... Oh, that was actually the right one. Wanna stop in here. Continue to connect through to the airport. And then we're just gonna swing through our industry area. Could stop at the cargo harbor, but I don't think we need to do that. Let's just stop over here, make another stop there. And then we're gonna go all the way to the outside world. Come back in. And make a couple of stops along the way here. All right, that connection is in as well. Gonna call this outside world coach. And the next thing we definitely need to do is reduce the vehicles definitely lower than, I would set it to lower than 11, but cannot. Big problem is we don't have enough buses. As you can see, 35 are in use, and we just added a ton more. So we need to expand this part right here. And I think the best way for us to do this is actually to carve more into the mountain here, make a proper space for our bus garages. Gonna smooth this out a little bit so it looks a little bit nicer. Gonna move this over into this corner and build another one right next to it. Let's actually place it just on the other side, leaving a little bit of space in the middle. Now that gives us 45 buses, which may or may not be enough. Let's actually have a look. In here. So I know the east route needs 11. The west and the outside world coach also needs 11, so that's 22. I wish they would just tell me how many buses I need. No vehicles. Which probably means we need another one of these. But instead of panicking, let's actually wait and see until all of them are in use. And then we'll take it from there. Alright, all of them have spawned in. The east route is 4. The outside world coach is 7. So yeah, we definitely need more. Alright, let's go ahead and do a bit more terraforming, and then we'll take it from there. Alright, that should be plenty of buses now. And while we're at it, I think I want to make them electric. Some of them I want to make electric. So let's add that in here. And then let's have a quick look. So the ones that actually go the circular routes, those should be electric, in all honesty. Because they are going through our downtown areas. And I think it'd be nice if they weren't so loud. Alright, the ones that are moving up here and like our east route and west route, I think they should remain what they are. Because they're going further outside, I think it's fine. We have our Airport Express, which I'm okay with not being electric. The overall island one should probably also not be. And forgot where the red line goes. Oh, the red line goes into our industry area. Which does remind me, at some point we need to fix this. There's one stop right here, which makes the bus go all the way in there. And I think if we just place a bus stop, maybe even all the way back here, that would be fine. Just because I've seen this just now, let's remove these paths. Actually 2 bus stops, and one isn't even used. Alright, let's go ahead and remove these. Let's just fix it right now, because I will forget otherwise. Because, yeah, that's just what it is. And then we'll move this spot into this bus stop. Much shorter, still a good connectivity, but again, what we are actually doing is trying to figure out which ones should be electric, and I think it's okay if this one isn't. And I have actually changed my mind. I'm gonna make the island ones, both of them, electric as well, because they're also going through the downtown of our tourist area right here. And I think it would be nice if they actually weren't as loud, especially this close to the beach. No vehicles? We're using all of them already? Wait, 55. Maybe no vehicles because they just need to go back and replace stuff? I don't know. We're gonna let this run and simulate for a little while, and then we're taking it there. Alright, with that, we have done a couple of fixes in this episode. I think that is good. One last fix that I wanted to do that just came across as I was doing all of this. I think a mailbox would be nice. So we're gonna have one mailbox for the entire area up here. And trying to match it somewhat with a bus stop. I think we had a bus stop over here. So let's place the mailbox right there. So the coverage up here is actually pretty decent. There's a post office right there, which I guess is fine. Could also put a mailbox up at our hospital. And then in this area we have 0 mailboxes, which is absolutely not okay. So let's place one close to the bus stop. It's the cards you send out as you're about to head back home, telling everyone how awesome your vacation was, and one a little bit more downtown. Gonna put another one at the airport. Same principle, last minute, hey, I was on vacation, it was awesome, kind of thing. And then we're gonna add one here. Add one to our little commercial pocket back here. And one actually just in front of our elementary school. Alright, with that we have more than enough coverage with our mailboxes. I say this, we'll probably add another one into our industrial zone. Maybe not on the main road, but one on one of the side roads. Let's actually just up a few more, especially in the back here and close to the offices. That makes a ton of sense to me. And with that, we have a good mail coverage again. Alright, with that, I'm gonna end the episode. Thank you all for watching. And we're gonna have a look if some of the pedestrians are using this path right here. See you next time. Bye bye.